Let's start with a drink.
За здоровье.
На здоровье.
Your first lesson, do not say на здоровье. Only за здоровье. Because we don't drink... How it's called even на здоровье? It's like, please, на здоровье. Пожалуйста.
I don't understand.
Understand. I don't understand, bitch. I don't understand.
What do you want from me?
What I'm trying to say that we drink for health.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So...
This is the vibe you're getting already.
Yeah. Himbo and bimbo, you know?
Hello, guys.
Girls, gays and theys.
Hi, girls, gays, and theys.
Hopefully.
My name is Ella.
My name is Dayan.
And we are... What are we? We are just...
Who we are.
We are just hot, smart people
Or...
who decided that their voices need to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
We have so much to say, so we are here right now. And today, our topic is Western leftism and Western leftists.
Before we start, we can introduce ourselves a bit more, I guess.
Yeah, so let's start. Let's start with you. Who are you? Tell us about yourself, please.
Oh my god, it's so complicated.
It's so complicated.
Oh my god. Oh my god, it's so complicated. But basically, we are podcasters. Originally, I'm from Russia and now I'm living in France. And day job doesn't matter. Night job, it's podcast, recording videos, etc. We only do it in Russian, but now we decided to enter international market. Yes, because it's interesting and it's important.
We have such unique perspectives that it was so unbearable just to speak in Russian, just to provide the material in only this language. So we decided to start doing our content in English.
I wanted to make, my one thing was I went into the Disney Channel building and I sat down with the president of Disney Channel and I said, I want to make history. And that's what this is.
And basically, so for me, I'm Ella. As I told you already, I'm also Russian. And sorry. And I live also in the EU, in Germany, to be specific. And I hope that on this channel we are gonna talk a lot about European politics because we are very much affected by it as immigrants, as people of different identities that are marginalized.
Different minorities.
Yeah, also like queer women, like, everything basically. Also, we are Jewish.
Mentally unstable.
Mentally ill.
It's giving he, she, we, they, them, non-binary, vegan, vegetarian. I'm scared. I'm going to give it 2 stars.
On this channel, we're not gonna talk only about Russia or our perspective as Russians, or as we like to say, post-Soviet people, because we do have a lot in common with other Russian-speaking people. But anyway, we have like very specific perspective, and that is what is lacking in English-speaking space. And it's generally, for me personally, very funny to see Western leftists sometimes. I mean, we are leftists, okay? Let's make it clear, right?
Yeah.
We are leftists. We do not define ourselves as socialist or communist or anarchist. I feel like we subscribe to different parts of this philosophical thoughts, let's say so. But I personally cannot choose one label, and I feel like it's very limiting as well, because not only certain ideas attached to this label, but also like the way people think, the way they communicate, and so on and so forth. There are a lot of problems, and we see them also in Western spaces, and we want to talk today a little bit about our experience as people who come from post-Soviet country. There are so little leftists left after Soviet Union. Thanks, Soviet Union. And also we see a lot of Western leftists, and like we communicate with them sometimes.
Not too much.
not too much, but we are trying.
Yeah.
We are trying this. This is also
Yeah.
our attempt integration to the Western leftist community. And I hope that we will share some information or some perspective that is not so common, at least.
So let's start.
Let's go!
Let the show begin.
Our first part is going to be about our impressions when we just came to Europe. How was it for us to be here as left-leaning persons? Because at the beginning, we will be completely honest with you. We were not like leftists, so Europe made us leftist. Imagine that.
Forced us.
Yeah, but also Western literature is, as you see, like I have a lot of books because me and my husband, we like to read, and we read a lot of also like leftist books, and most of the knowledge that I also try to communicate in the Russian speaking space is written or like produced in the Western part of this world. Like, I know this label is very problematic, but you know what I mean? For me, it's like a huge plus because this is what we do not have in Russia, like almost at all. Like we do have like some translations of the books. My first book was David Graeber, that 5,000 history. This is what radicalized me, which is also really interesting. But we do not have that many our authors, and this is also very, maybe it's a little bit superiority complex, I don't know, because we have so much history with leftism, and it's like just a pity we don't have it anymore, like at all. And it's not just only neoliberalism that is responsible for it, but for the most part it is Soviet Union.
Yeah, I'm not sure about myself because, you know, when I lived in Russia, I was so apolitical. Yeah, I didn't pay attention to a lot of stuff. I didn't think about them, etc. And when I moved here, at the same time, we already started to do our podcast, and I become more, how to say it? I started to pay attention to some things, more politicized. I saw more protests, I saw some stickers, etc. So now I feel like back there, they don't really speak about these topics, they're not really interested in these topics, but here you can feel this political, economical atmosphere that people really interested in. But at the same time, I feel like it's not actually in a deep level where people would like to have conversation and would like to actually do something. Sometimes it's more like aesthetics, especially in France, because I don't know, in Russia, to hear this thing like left and right, for me it was so rare because we don't have I feel like we don't use these words a lot, but in France, because of the history, of course, it's like everybody left or right. But I don't feel like it's what that actually means for them. It's more like aesthetics because, you know, some bisexual barista in Paris, he was like, yes, I'm leftist.
I'm a communist.
I'm a communist. So I don't know.
Yeah, so the pluses are like I wrote some advantages because like obviously we're speaking only about Europe here because we have not been to the US and we don't know much about it in terms of like experience, but we do see a lot of content on the internet, and I feel like especially in Germany and in France we are really much influenced by English speaking content coming from the US, so it feels like we already know everything there, and we are gonna
but you know, sometimes we know more about political things in the States rather than the actual people who lived there.
Yeah.
Because I know not a lot of, but some people who moved from USA to France, they know nothing about their countries.
And especially people moving from the US to France, sometimes it's like military people who are like even less politicized. But yeah, for me, it's obviously much more spread. Like leftism in general, ideas are not so marginal, like socialism, communism, especially in countries we live in, it's not marginal at all. I mean, still is sort of, but in the mass culture, it's much more spread. And we have to highlight that we come from Moscow. This is the biggest city in Russia, the biggest city in Europe, and it was something foreign to us. And for me, it's kind of mind-blowing. Another thing that I have already mentioned, literature, and this is such a privilege when you are a native English-speaking person, and basically all the literature is in English.
Yeah.
You do not need any translation, and because we are westernized people, and when we do our content in Russian, like we use sometimes English words, because obviously when you read English literature, the literature is written in English because it sounds like English coming from like England, but you know, for many Russian-speaking people, it sounds like we're flexing with our English knowledge.
Oh my god, you're so posh.
Yeah, like because it's so not spread, like to know English, to read in English, and even to find the literature in English is super fucking hard. This is why, like, you have to appreciate it, that you can read all the stuff, like, firsthand, like, super fast, easy, like, to find everything. It's unimaginably privileged. Another thing, also events, parties, and we have started to attend more events in the recent past. Parties, I mean here, like, political parties, obviously. Maybe you thought, like...
Yeah, and also, like, parties, drinking.
They're not about parties, to be honest. So obviously, we are a little bit asocial.
Yeah.
So we're not really about parties. We're about political parties, though. And there's some kind of conversation going on. This is what I wrote down for myself. Because in Russia, like, we do not have any conversation. Okay, maybe I'm here I'm a little bit too negative, because we are also part of this picture where we start certain conversations, and probably for some people here, like, our following or like the amount of our subscribers doesn't feel like it's a lot, but for a Russian-speaking podcast, like, to have, like, for example, 20,000 followers, it's like a lot. It's a huge podcast, because Russian leftists are so marginalized. And the fact that there are at least 2 podcasts that are discussing certain leftist topics and talking about politics, economy, everything, basically, obviously with some sort of censorship. Even like in these videos that we're gonna make, we will not be able to say the word war in one specific context because it's literally criminalized. We could be persecuted for that. And this is insane, even though we are abroad, but still we have like relatives in Russia. So this is what we have to think about. And this is also what Western people cannot even comprehend, even like a little bit, that you have to think about what words you use, because like certain words literally like you cannot say them because it's criminal charge. It's not just, I don't know, some small fine or something like this.
For them it's hard to imagine that you need a visa to go somewhere, but this is another level. Like what?
Yeah. Obviously, it's not the conversation. Like we're gonna do some video about like immigration and how Western people like imagine that. We have a lot of experience. We have a lot to talk about here. But now we're moving to the negative part. We're gonna start with more visual thing that I see a lot is like hammer and sickle, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of hammer and sickle because it's such a Soviet Union
Coded,
coded Soviet Union. It's not Soviet Union coded. It's like Soviet Union
literally.
Soviet sign,
Yeah.
and that people unironically use that still. Like for me, it's crazy. And again, we are here not as liberals, we are here as leftists who know Soviet history and know like the myths about it and also the truth about it. And this is what is so infuriating about certain Western leftists. And we have watched today one video from Madeleine Pendleton, obviously, because she's like a very prominent figure in English-speaking Western like / US leftist space. Like she has a million, like more than 1 million followers on TikTok.
Yeah.
This is a lot. I have to say that I like her content, certain content. Sometimes she does talk a lot about her life and like some lifestyle content or like what can you do and so on and so forth. It sounds very how to say it? I want to say it vernünftig. Very reasonable.
You can translate
It's
it.
very reasonable, but certain videos, like they are giving me straight up tanky. The person who is like, oh, the socialist country, they did not do anything bad, like this kind of stuff.
After a few years of continuing to learn about propaganda, I had pretty much realized that everything I thought I knew about socialist countries was a lie. And when I looked at what these socialist countries were actually materially doing to help their people, I could not, in good conscience, condemn them.
You know, I would like to add something
To hammer sickle.
Yeah. I totally agree with you, of course, because all of my beliefs based on your beliefs, but
As a man's belief should always.
But you know, for me, I see some good things that they use this symbol. I saw a lot of videos on YouTube, not on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, where people who came from post-Soviet countries, they were like they feel so superior that, oh my god, you're so stupid to use these symbols, not because of the critics we have, but because we lived in communism society and we know the actual truth.
And they're like 22.
Yeah, and like the capital is much better, etc. And maybe it's just positive thinking or something, but for me, that they see this thing and maybe they will read more about this, heard more about this, and maybe they can change their minds and dive deeper in these topics.
I don't believe in it.
You don't believe? I try to believe in it.
You want to believe in it, yeah.
I feel like it was kind of the same with me, because in my head, I thought Soviet Union completely
bad.
Yeah, the worst thing. And thanks God it's
over.
It's over. And then I saw more and more symbols and I was like, why? Maybe we need to talk a bit more about it. Maybe we need to learn history or something. And yeah, here I am.
But the thing is that most of the people who are like Soviet Union stans, they have this right-wing ideologies that use certain leftist words, but in their content they are right, they're pro hierarchy, and they're trying to justify certain things. For example, like when we talk about like the early Soviet history, there are some people who are just they try to save the revolution, and that's why they needed to protect it. They couldn't know any better. It's just bad thing for leftists in general to try to justify certain bad things that happened in the Soviet Union. Yeah, obviously we need to understand the circumstances. For example, my best my best recommendation for this, the book about Walmart and central planning. The authors describe Soviet history there very, very well in a way that I personally subscribe to. It's not productive for us to just justify those things and say actually they were better than like the capitalist US and blah blah blah, because leftism for me is primarily about future and about what we can build, and to like rely so heavily on the past. And it's what I wrote about actually.
Totally agree.
Because I'm also like a freelance writer, and I wrote one article about nostalgia and hauntology. Honestly, this reminds me of hauntology. So people like look in the past for the ghosts of the future. So this unfulfilled fantasies of the future that the Soviet Union provided, that the Yugoslavia and other communist socialist countries, and we also do this because we do not consider them, honestly, neither socialist nor communist. The Soviet Union was a class society. Nomenclatura was a class that owned everything, basically, that could afford almost everything, while like Soviet citizens in some cases or in some instances had very scarce access to resources. And yeah, all of these things for me and for Russian leftists are not a thing to just, let's debunk like Western propaganda. There was obviously Western propaganda, especially in the Cold War, but it's such устаревший.
Outdated?
It's just outdated. Yeah, it's just outdated. So,
yeah, I totally agree. Like the main goal is not to just have conversations and that's it. The main goal is actually change something. It's act. And for me, since also I'm not really interested in history, in some dates, in some activities that were before, etc., I'm not really interested in all of this stuff. I understand, of course, it's important because we can learn from the things that happened before. We can see the mistakes, not to remake them, etc. But when we spend all of the time justifying or criticizing or something else, or giving labels
or giving labor
giving labels and trying to find out, are you this kind of leftist or this kind? I don't know, it's just time waste sometimes for me, because even if, I don't know, leftist idea never happened before, never existed, failed 1,000 times, etc., etc., it doesn't mean that right now it's the best system and we can create something even completely new. So yeah, we should look back, we should learn, we should do some stuff about past, but the most important thing is to look forward and do something about our future, because we can change the past, you know.
Yeah, period.
Yeah.
And also one of the Western creators that we love, I personally love him a lot.
Me too.
His channel is called What is Politics, and I feel like our politics align a lot. Like I agree with him almost on everything. What disappoints me a lot is that people spend so much time, especially on the internet, arguing about Soviet Union was actually so good and look how they lived and blah blah blah. And they also do not take into consideration like certain specific circumstances that certain historic period has. So it's very surface level analysis where people scratch from the surface because they do not know like the whole history, or maybe as people who did not study history as a subject at university. They don't know how to analyze it. They just take like, oh, I read about like something cool that happened in the US or in the US or in the USSR, and I'm gonna talk about, yeah, it was cool and it's like very politically charged topic. It may be helpful in American context or specific European context, like, I don't know, German context, like to talk about this and debunk certain myths so people could overcome like this prejudice, move on to some new ideas. But the thing is, it almost never happens. It happens very rarely that people move on to other ideas. And sometimes I do see like this type of content, but it comes from mostly like media, for example, like Navarra Media. I love this channel and I love everything that they do, but also like they have certain level of also superiority or like expertise. They're like this authority of knowledge, invite people who are like experts who wrote books, and this is like elitist type of conversations, elite knowledge. This is not on the ground level, let's say so. And I would like to see this more on the ground level, where we discuss like what's going on, what ideas there are, like what people write about, like in more accessible language. What else? I feel like for the first video, it's already enough. We hope that we didn't bore you, but also we would be really, really happy if you left us a comment, if you subscribed, if you, I don't know,
Some positive
put
affirmation.
thumbs up, like our video, and maybe also ask us certain questions. Maybe you have like some questions about like Russia or post-Soviet countries, or like what's going on there in general. Maybe you have like this type of questions. We would be happy to do a Q&A or something like this. And we'll see hopefully each other very, very soon.
Bisous bisous.
Bisous bisous. Tschüss.